fifth grade, welcome back to Grammar. Today's video is for April 23rd. I want to continue in Psalm 46 and share verses 4 through 7 with you today. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God will help her when morning dawns. The nations rage, the kingdoms totter. He utters his voice, the earth melts. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. So I hope that this is an encouragement to you today, just to know that God is with you. And like we read back in verse 1, he is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. So he is going to get us through this time, this situation that we're living in right now that's so different and unusual. And I hope it's comforting to you to know that God is with you and he will help us and get us through. So today we're going to review using more, most, less, and least. Remember, we use more and less with longer adjectives or adverbs that are comparing two things that we can't add ER to. And then we use most and least in front of longer adjectives or adverbs that are comparing three or more things, and that we can't add EST to the words. So I have a little example for you. I have a bell here. Okay, I rang the bell softly. I'm gonna ring it again. I rang the bell more softly the second time I rang it. I rang the bell the most softly the third time I rang it. So we wouldn't say softly-er or softly-is, would we? So in front of adjectives or adverbs that we can't add ER or EST to, we're going to remember to use more or less when it's comparing two things, and most or least when it's comparing three or more. All right, now we're going to take a look at the workbook page that you did yesterday, page 242, and then I'll explain the worksheet that you'll be doing today. Okay, let's take a look at page 242 that you did yesterday. The first part, you were supposed to underline the correct adjective or adverb form. So number 1, the snow was less driving during the night. And that would be correct because we wouldn't want to say drivinger. So a driving snow is just coming down very hard, very forcefully. We're not talking about getting behind the wheel of a car here. So the snow was less driving. It was coming down less forcefully during the night. Number 2, as nightfall approached, the temperature became lower. We can add ER to low, so lower would be correct. Number 3, blizzards must have winds greater than 35 miles per hour. Again, we can add ER to great. So greater is the correct answer. Number 4, snowdrifts 5 feet high made the road most difficult to travel on. So we're talking about of all of the occurrences, it was the most difficult. And then number 5, South Dakota is often called the blizzard state. We're not comparing it to anything else, so it's often. If we were comparing it to another state, then we would say it's more often called the blizzard state than, say, California or something. Number 6, higher winds are expected with a blizzard warning than with a winter storm warning. So we're comparing two things there, blizzard warning and winter storm warning. Number 7, four-wheel drive vehicles are abler to travel over snow-packed roads than front-wheel drive cars are. Okay, so we're comparing the two types of vehicles, so we add ER. Remember, we don't use more or most or less or least with a word that ends in ER. Number 8, snowmobiles are the most helpful rescue vehicles to people stranded in the woods. So of all the vehicles, they are the most helpful. Number 9, freezing rain makes roads dangerous. Okay, we're not comparing the roads to anything else. They're dangerous roads. And then number 10, the highway was less slippery than the country road. Okay, we're comparing two things there, the highway and the country road, so we use less. All right, next you had to write the correct form of the adjective or adverb. So number 11, you could have written travelers were more drastically delayed on Tuesday than on Monday, or less drastically. Either of those would have been correct. You're comparing two things. You're comparing the delay on Tuesday and on Monday. Number 12, snow-packed roads and downed power lines made driving more difficult today than yesterday. We're comparing the driving to yesterday and today. Number 13, a driver must be more careful on snow-packed roads than on dry pavement. Okay, so we wouldn't say carefuler, more careful. 14, they rode the snowmobile for an hour on the stormiest day of the week. So we're comparing that day to all the other days of the week, so it would be stormiest. And then apply and write, you had to write two sentences. The first one, you had to have more modern in your sentence. So my sample sentence is, homes today are more modern than they were 50 years ago. And then the second sentence, you had to have most quickly. He ran the most quickly of all the boys in the class. We wouldn't say quickliest, so it'd be most quickly. All right, hope you did well on page 242. Now let's go ahead and look at the worksheet that you're going to do for today. Comparing with more, most, less, and least. And remember, if somehow you did not get this worksheet, you can find it in the PDFs in our Google Classroom, or you can just look at it. If you can't print it out, you can just look at it and you can write it out on a piece of paper. That's fine too. Okay, so the first part, you're supposed to underline the correct adjective or adverb form. So again, read the sentence carefully, underline the correct choice, and then the second part, write the correct form of the adjective or adverb. So are you going to add ER to the word? Are you going to put more or most or less or least in front of the word to have it make sense in the sentence? All right, go ahead and work on that, and we will check that next time. And when you're finished with the worksheet, I'd like you to go into Google Classroom, and I would like you to take the adjective and adverb quiz. It's a short quiz, but it is not an open book quiz. So just read and follow the directions carefully, complete the quiz, and then turn it in. Have a great day.